Hi Booktube, I'm here with my recommendations for leap year reads. Obviously we have an extra day this month on Monday, a leap year, and to me that means an extra day of reading, and obviously I will have to go to work with it being Monday, but I would rather be reading, wouldn't I always? But still, it is an extra day reading, so here I've got some recommendations for books that you can either read in the extra day that we've got or get totally engrossed in and fly through. The first one that I recommend, I haven't actually got a copy of. Obviously, when I tidied my shelves up, I couldn't find it anywhere, so I've obviously lent it to someone who's not giving it back. And that is The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Marianne Schaffer. This is an epistolary, I can't say that word, book, all the letters that are written, and it's set in Guernsey during the German occupation and the Second World War, and it's a small, sweet, lovely little book about camaraderie and all those little things about that you can do to defy in your own way, and their own little sort of way of getting one over on the Germans who were occupying the island. It's quite a small book, it's a brilliant book, it makes you feel all warm, fuzzy and lovely inside, and it's a great book and you can do it in a day. One of the other books I would recommend is Jen Campbell's Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops, and more Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops. Jen's actually a booktuber, you probably all know her, she's absolutely fab. She is the first person I discovered on Booktube and the reason that I am here. These are fantastic reads. Being book lovers, you'll totally get everything and understand what it is that Jen's getting at, and laugh out loud funny. They're really brilliant reads. You can read them from cover to cover, or you can dip in and out, but they're so funny, they'll make your day. So they're great books you can read in a day. In fact, you could probably read both in a day if you really wanted to. Another one, if you want to do a classic, is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. You could do this in a day because it's quite a small book. It's one of those books that is always on the all-time to be read great books list. So if you haven't read it yet, the leap year extra day is a great day to do it because you can do it in a day and get that one read. It's a book I've read a couple of times, and each time I read it I start to appreciate it a little bit more. The first time I read it I hated it, but reading it again I've actually started to get more out of it, appreciate it. All the characters in it are totally vile, but I appreciate the vileness maybe now, but I can understand why it's a classic. It's like reading poetry on every line. It's absolutely beautiful. So you can do this one in a day. It's a great read. It's a must read. Everybody should read this one. For something different, I recommend The Sisters Brothers by DeWitt. This book I think was shortlisted for the Booker Prize, in 2011. This is a really unusual book for me because it's actually a Western. But don't let that put you off if that's not your kind of thing, because it's the only Western I've ever read. But it's absolutely fantastic. It's not a great big book, it's a huge page turner, and it's about Eli and Charlie sisters, and they are the Sisters Brothers, and they are, you know, the typical Clint Eastwood setting, the Western in the times of the gold rush. I think, if I remember rightly, they are bounty hunters. And it's all about gunslinging, but the actual character of the Sisters Brothers, particularly one of them, and I can't remember if it's Charlie or Eli, you'll just fall in love with him. He's just, the story's told through his perspective. He's just such a lovely character. You just get transported. I can't speak highly enough of it. It's beautifully written. It's eloquent, it is poetic, and you really the characterization is fantastic. They're so well developed, and you'll fall in love with the Sisters Brothers. It's great. You can do it in a day. It's not a huge book. You'll want to do it in a day because you won't want to put it down. Another one, the most recent one probably on this pile, is The Martian by Andy Weir, bit of sci-fi. It's a bit bigger, but even though you don't get it done in a day, you'll want to do it in a day, because if you're anything like me, I could not put it down. It was absolutely brilliant. You are rooting for Mark Watney, who is the Martian that's stranded on Mars. I absolutely fell totally in love with him, actually. Yeah. I've still got a bit of a crush. Well, I've got quite a big crush on Mark Watney. It's thrilling. It's educational. It is just fantastic. And yeah, one of the best books I've read in a long while. You will not be able to want to put it down. You'll be rooting for Mark Watney all the way through. You will feel sad when he feels sad. You'll learn to appreciate potato farming like you never knew. He's just great. So it's a fantastic book. So yeah, real page turner, fantastic book to read on our extra day of the year. Another one, now this is actually 3, so you probably couldn't do all 3, but that is the Hunger Games trilogy. These are, I would always, whenever I recommend anybody reads the Hunger Games, I would always say you're very lucky to come to them now because all 3, the whole trilogy is out. And if you're going to buy the Hunger Games, buy the trilogy, because you get to the end of each book and you have to find out what happens next. I mean, these are really, really popular now because of the films. The films actually did quite a good job of adapting the book, but I think it was primarily because Suzanne Collins, the author, was involved in the script. But obviously you always get more from the book, so I would recommend the Hunger Games trilogy. So you have the Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. So yeah, these are great, great books. And maybe if you wanted to have the weekend read and then use your extra bank holiday, leap year day on Monday, you could read Saturday, Sunday and Monday. Next one, this is quite a thick book, but this is sort of literary fiction, and this is We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver. It's quite a thick book. You'd be a really, really fast reader if you can do that in a day. But again, it's a brilliant book to get absorbed in. It's very different. It's dark. It is quite a good commentary on modern life, really, and particularly in America. I think you definitely get the idea where Lionel Shriver stands when you've read this book on American gun laws. But again, it's just an absorbing, fantastic read. So, you know, for that extra day, you will get totally transfixed into it. And yeah, we really do need to talk about Kevin. Kevin's not right at all. Another one, now this is quite a thick book, but I actually read it in a day. And this is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafon. It's a big book, but I just couldn't do anything else. In fact, going to the toilet was kind of a chore, really, because I had to put it down for a minute. This takes you to Barcelona and the Cemetery of Forgotten Books, Labyrinth Library, and it's a mystery. It's got puzzles and problem solving, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's translated fiction, but it is absolutely beautifully written. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful book. So again, it's a page turner. You will get absorbed in it. You'll be transported to somewhere else. A fantastic book. I envy people who haven't read this yet, because I would, you know, you always want that first time again. I would love the first time with this again, but it's just brilliant. And if you like books, it's got books in it. It's about books. And finally, I have a Persephone classic, and this is Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day by Winifred Watson. And again, this is a book I read in a day. And this book is just delightful. I think it's set in the, 1938, but I think it's more sort of set, it sort of has the feel of the 1920s jazz age, and you sort of get transfixed into, you know, one of those old Hollywood glamour films where you have the glamorous woman living in the apartment and she's dressing for dinner and she's going out for cocktails in the evening. So it takes place over one day, and Miss Pettigrew comes to the apartment of, I can't remember the name of the other lady, and I think she comes to be a typist or employment agency. Miss Pettigrew is actually a governess, and I think she goes to the wrong house to do a job, but Miss Pettigrew ends up helping the lady, and over the course of a day, Miss Pettigrew is quite suppressed, she's downtrodden, she's middle-aged, she's not really experienced life, she's had no glamour in her life, she's been a hard-working girl, she's had to work all the way to get what she wants, as opposed to, I cannot think what the other lady is, has just sort of had everything that she wants fall into her lap, and over the course of a day they change each other's lives for the better, and it's just wonderful. It's beautifully written, it's whimsical, it's fantastic, and obviously being a Persephone book, the cover is beautiful, and it's beautiful inside with flaps, and it has the little beautiful pictures inside. So yeah, it's a great read. I recommend this one highly. It's fabulous. You will enjoy it. So that's what I've got to recommendations for leap year reads for that extra day. Obviously, like I said, there's nothing better than reading on an extra day of the year. So let's make the most of it, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!